Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Kaitlyn Study. Her company helps small to medium-sized businesses achieve more growth through marketing online. Her company is South Street & Co. and is dedicated to getting results and showing clients through creative outlets just how their marketing can work for them. Well, very excited to learn all about this from Kaitlyn. Welcome to the show, Kaitlyn Study.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Kaitlyn, and how you got involved in marketing and ultimately who South Street & Company is.
Sure. So I am in Orlando, Florida, and went to UCF, which is a big college here locally, and then got a degree in marketing and looked for a company everywhere except for Orlando. And of course, when that happens, you find one here. So I got a job with a local dermatologist who at the time had 10 offices, and he had never done any sort of marketing, but had been really successful through word of mouth and building his reputation. So I kind of came in and he was like, okay, let's see what you can do. So I helped them rebrand the whole company in the first 6 months and implemented social media marketing, email marketing, blogging, and SEO. And the other half of my job was going out and being the liaison between doctors who did refer and who could refer. So if you remember, or if you know what a drug rep does, they go in, they represent the company, they drop off pens, bring lunches, they educate the offices. That was essentially what I did just for the dermatologist. So I really loved doing that. And over the 2.5 years that I was there, I helped them double in size. So when I left, I helped them build 17 offices in Central Florida and 3 out of state. And it was really great because I learned everything grassroots style. It was to the point where I couldn't describe what I wanted out of my head to the graphic designer that we had hired. And so I was like, hey, can you just buy me Photoshop and I'll teach myself how to do it? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. So I taught myself how to do that. I only wanted to throw my computer out the window 2 times because learning it was so difficult. It's so funny because if you're starting Photoshop, there's like 2 essential buttons. I have the CS6 version still, but if you're starting Photoshop, there's 2 buttons that you need to click, and they're tiny buttons and you would never know. So once I found that, it was, smooth sailing from there. So I just kind of felt like I'd reached a plateau. The doctor in charge wanted me to go out and meet other doctors. And while I really loved doing that, my heart was with the digital side of the marketing. So along with the teaching myself Photoshop, I also learned about social media posting, about SEO and how to grow people's reach online, and then how effective email marketing was as well. So my parents had always been advocates of being an entrepreneur, and they said, well, why don't you start your own business? And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. It sounds really hard and challenging. And growing up, they had always said, you should start your own thing because you can manage your hours. You can, there's no ceiling to how far you can go. So I got my first client in February 2014, and we're still working with her today. And my mom actually introduced me to her. She was her hairstylist and her friend from high school, and her name's Patty. And Patty was telling my mom, I'm not getting results from this company that I hired. I don't even know what they're doing. And my mom said, well, maybe you should talk to Kaitlyn. And that's how it started. And then I really got serious about it that summer in 2014 and started going out and building up basically creating the company, building up my reputation. And at the dermatologist, we had Fridays off at noon. So every Friday I would book clients, like one at 12:30, one at 1:30, one at 3 o'clock, one at 4:30. And if I could get everyone in, it was good. I mean, I met people on weekends. I went door to door, dropping off little leave behind, just saying, hey, I'm your new neighbor. I'm so excited to meet you. Please keep me in mind if you need marketing. And then I got into daytime marketing, which is like the BNI or the leads groups that maybe some of you have heard of. And that was at Tuesday mornings at 7:00 in the morning. And I told my job, I was like, hey, I'm doing continuing ed because I didn't want them to find out and fire me because I wasn't ready yet. So I basically set a goal to be out by March 2015 and put in my notice. And that was the most nerve-wracking day of my life because I didn't know if he was going to fire me. I was still counting on those 2 last weeks of a paycheck and basically hit the ground running. So fast forward to 3 years later, we have an awesome office in a little sub area of Orlando called Thornton Park. And I have 4 full-time people working with me, and we're able to do some awesome things. We're working with some amazing clients and just helping to grow the company and helping to grow them as well.
Well, congratulations on that. That really is a great story. Great to hear that you just got out there, learned everything yourself. You hustled, you took a chance and quit your job. There's a lot of fear involved there, and it's that safety of having a job is really what keeps a lot of people back. But now you've gone on to employ for other people, which is great, Kaitlyn. So let's talk about your clients. What kind of clients is it now that you like to help?
Sure. So our target market are small to medium-sized businesses, and they're the clients that have been around, had their businesses for probably 2 years or more, and they know that they need marketing, but they just don't know where to get started. So we come in and help give them a plan and help them execute the different avenues that we think would be best fit for them. And it's really interesting because I think that a lot of people, there's so many different avenues that you can go down. It doesn't just have to be social media or just SEO. Like now we're including influencer marketing into some of our campaigns for our clients because influencers are just becoming so big, especially bloggers on the local level, but industry specific as well, like beauty bloggers or other aspects like that. So it's really cool to get creative with coming up with their marketing plan.
So what big problems do you help solve when somebody comes to you for help? What are the major problems that company usually has?
Yeah, so one of the big ones is, hey, I can't get found online. And that lines right up with search engine optimization, or SEO for short. And a lot of times SEO, when it comes down to it, it's not rocket science. It just takes time to understand and to learn what Google's looking for. And ultimately, Google is looking for a really great experience for the user. So if you can provide exactly what someone was searching in, exactly the information that they're looking for on your website, then ultimately Google will reward you in coming up in those searches. So a lot of times we hear, I'm not getting any leads from Google. No one's finding me online. When someone Googles me, I'm not even coming up. I'm not even coming up for the name of my company. So those are the items that we kind of sit down and go through. And what a lot of people may not think about is even if you're running ads online, let's say, you run a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad, or you're working with Google AdWords, you have to think about how your website looks as well. So I'll give you an example. I was talking with a client and they had a one-page website and really no call to actions. And what a call to action is it's a button that says click here, learn more, schedule an appointment, etc. We've all seen them. We've all seen the pop-ups. So he was running an ad and wasn't getting any results from it. Well, when we looked at his website, there was no clear call to action like call me or let's meet up or let me give you a free quote. So companies really need to think about that too, because the ad could be the best ad in the world, but if there's no way for customers to get in contact with you, that's going to be a detriment to the overall look and feel and results of it too.
So as far as SEO goes, what is really working for SEO? How do you set a company up to, get found for their major keywords?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think we do a really great job with local SEO. And what I mean by that is, so as an example, if we have a client and they're an AC company and their main target area is Orlando, Florida. So we'll write content for their website specified to that particular area plus a search term. So an example for this situation would be Orlando AC repair. So we would write content for that. But there are other ways that you can be found online. You can write blogs and content about frequently asked questions. So think about what people ask you about and think about what questions you're answering on a regular basis. You should also track the keywords and do keyword research. And keywords is just a fancy phrase for saying what people type in Google. And there are a couple of different programs that can help you with that. Google AdWords does the AdWords Keyword Planner, and that's where you can see what people are searching and how often people are searching it in a certain demographic, and that's a free tool. And then there are also different tools for checking how your rankings are doing, and a ranking is just essentially how you're coming up in Google search. So there's an industry leader, if you're interested in learning more about SEO, there's an industry leader called Moz.com, M-O-Z.com. They put out a lot of amazing articles. They do Whiteboard Fridays, and that's where we go to learn even more about what we're doing and how we can essentially help our clients grow as well.
Talk to me about the changes in SEO over the last few years. There's been a gradual but steady shift to mobile rather than the desktop. What difference has that made in search?
Yeah, so now people are typing in things like florist near me or dry cleaner near me. And what Google does is pull that location from that mobile or even from your desktop as well. But one thing that you have to make sure is that you're doing SEO right. You know, back in the day, you could do what was called keyword stuffing, where you could just write just content that didn't make sense. It was basically built for a robot. So you could put on a page like, Orlando dry cleaner, Orlando dry cleaner, Orlando dry cleaner, and you could just repeat that over and over, and that would get you on the top search results. But with Google's recent algorithm updates and releases, they no longer allow that because it's not what's best for the client and the consumer. So what you should do is make sure that you're writing content that people want to read and that educate people. And there are also a couple other things to take into consideration. Domain authority is one of them, and page authority is another one, and how long people are staying on your site. So those things tell Google if someone's staying on your site for, over a minute, 2 minutes, that tells Google that they're interested in what you're reading and that they should continue to show you for those relevant search terms. And domain authority means how long you've had your www.youraddress.com. They really put into account if there's any spam coming to it, how long you've had it, because the longevity of it tells Google that you are a legitimate site and you're a good ethical site as well. And then page authority tells how high that page is ranking as well in those search results. And that can be determined from links coming in from other websites and links going out on that page, as well as how long people are staying on there too.
So as far as how long people are staying on the page, which is, a big ranking factor, like you said, if you're staying on the page for quite a while, it must be some decent content. What kind of things can you do, or what kind of things do you put on the page in order to get people to actually stay on it?
Yeah, well, the first step in that is actually getting people to come to the page, right? So you need eyeballs in order for people to stay there. And I always describe websites as a website is the train station, and then social media marketing, SEO, email marketing, networking out in the community, passing out business cards. Those are the trains that will bring people back to that station. So some things that you can do to make your articles, I would call it more clickable. To make them more clickable, get people to look at them, is really focus on your headlines, because that's what's going to get people to look at that page and get interested. And from what I've seen, a lot of people don't really focus on headlines. They focus on the content itself, which is great. And you should 100% do that. But you should also take a decent amount of time to come up with your headline. And one site that does a great job of it are all of like people.com, cosmopolitan.com, all of those like magazine type sites. They do a great job at making clickable headlines, because you're like, oh, 5 ways to lose weight in 30 days or less. Oh, I want to click on that. Whereas you wouldn't necessarily click on something that said lose weight fast, or a more generic headline. So think about the headlines as well. But there are also other things that you can do. So making the content relevant. You don't want to do a clickbait article where you have one title and then the content is about something completely different, because once people get on that page, they're just going to go off and, look at something else because it's no longer relevant. But you can have really in-depth articles. The minimum amount of words that I still say, some people debate on this, but we've tested it for one of our clients where we had less than 300 words and we weren't really getting a lot of results from it. Whereas when we added over 300 words, he started ranking for particular keywords that we put on that page. So I still say do a minimum of 300 words on that page, but also put titles and bullet points. Everyone's attention span, mine included, has gone down significantly. So you want to keep people engaged. And you do that by putting shorter paragraphs, bullet points, and then you section off the different parts of the blog with bigger text called H1s, H2s, and H3s. And so that helps people read more. And then something that we do too is we'll put a call to action in the middle related to that article. So an example would be if you're talking about small business marketing, you could put a downloadable option in the middle of that saying, hey, click here to get our case study on how we helped grow this company from 2 months booking out to 3 months, 2 weeks to booking out to 3 months booking out. So that's a call to action right there that you can put in the middle of the page, and then people stay engaged, and then they want to read the rest of your articles, and then hopefully they want to hire you because they want those results as well.
So talk to me about, we used the AC example earlier. Mm-hmm. If somebody has or needs an AC company, are they not just looking for a phone number? Are they really going to a site and just reading articles? What is the benefit, or what works in that kind of case?
Yeah, that's a great question. So at the end of the day, when you need an AC company, it's because your AC probably broke. And if you're living in Florida, you need them now, right? So of course you want to have a phone number front and center. And I always recommend to put a phone number at the top right of your menu bar above the menu so that it travels with that person throughout the page. But the whole point of writing content is to attract that person searching for that particular need. So let's say they've had issues with their AC in the past and they want someone to maintain it for them. Maybe you would write a page of content geared towards AC maintenance in Orlando, or why you should have AC maintenance, or save 10% on your energy bill each year with AC maintenance. Now, any of those titles will work, and obviously you'll need to test which one would do better, but you can write content about that particular issue. And the whole point is for someone to come to that page, read exactly what they're looking for, and then contact you from there.
So you really have to do a good job with keyword research.
Yes, definitely. And people always ask me too, they say, well, do I really need to blog? Is blogging still a thing? And the answer is yes, but blogging is great for 2 reasons. So number one, it helps because it educates people. And number 2, it's good for SEO purposes. So if you're only blogging and kind of writing about, whatever comes to mind that's still related to your business, that's great, but you're only hitting 1 out of 2 of those benefits. Now, if you do the keyword research and you see that maybe 1,000 people in the Orlando area are searching for an AC repair technician, now you can educate people through that blog, and you'll be ranking for that keyword because now it's specific And then you'll have that call to action either on the right-hand side, the phone number at the top, or maybe throughout the blog. And then hopefully, because they read about what you're doing, they'll contact you from there.
Very good. And how often should an ACE company or a company like that be blogging in a month?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you're doing it with a company like ours, we always recommend a minimum of 3 per month, because that's 3 different keywords that you can get out into the Google world, into the search, and that's more opportunity. That's 3 times more opportunity each month to rank for a different keyword. Now, if you're doing this on your own, if you just started your business, like, 3 years ago, I could not blog 3 times a month. I was starting with, once a month, and then, okay, I have more time. All right, let's write one more. Whatever you do in marketing, you have to be consistent. So if once a month works for you, start at once a month. If 2 times a month, like every other week works for you, start with that. But whatever you do, just be consistent with it. Just know that the more content you put out there, the more chances you have to rank for particular keywords and different keywords that people are searching you for.
And with all these blogs, how about backlinks? Do you still need to get backlinks to these blogs in order to make them show up, or are they going to show organically for longer tail keywords?
So blogs will show up if you optimize them effectively, and the same as pages. However, backlinks are still a part of the whole SEO vision. So for anyone who doesn't know what a backlink is, it's essentially someone putting your website link on their website. So when you click on it, it links back to your website. So Google sees that as authorization. Hey, this company is validating this other company because they're willing to put their website on their own website. So what you should do is you should look for people that are related to your industry and reach out to them. And you can do a couple things. You can create a resource page on your website and someone else can create it on theirs, and you can do a link exchange where you put their website on yours and vice versa. And then you can also do guest blogs as well. So if you wrote a guest blog, you would write about your company related to that company that you're writing for's clients, and then you would place a link linking back to your website on there. But another thing to keep a note if you have any partnerships or affiliations, those are great opportunities to put your website on their website. Like Chamber of Commerce's are great, .edu sites are great too. So maybe if you're a guest professor or an adjunct professor at a local college or university, getting your website on there is going to be essential as well.
It's a great piece of advice there, Kaitlyn. Well, there's so much to talk about here and so little time. I would like to talk about influencer marketing and just how that works. Can you explain to us what influencer marketing is and what it does for a business?
Sure. So influencer marketing is working with someone who has an influence in a particular market. So everyone's heard of bloggers and everyone's probably either followed them, especially on Instagram, or subscribed to their personal blogs. And influencers are a huge opportunity because you can partner with them and they can talk to their audience and tell them about you. And that's someone advocating for you and your company. Now, the thing with influencers is you have to make sure that their target market is your target market. So as an example, we're a marketing agency and our target market are small to medium-sized businesses. We probably wouldn't want to pair with a beauty blogger because their target market are probably women and maybe they don't own businesses. It might be a low percentage of them that do, but that's not something that would work well for what we're going after. However, if you have a new makeup brush company that you're releasing, or if you're doing, let's just say like an organic nail polish brand, that would 100% be someone that you would want to partner with to get your product in front of those people. And there are a bunch of different ways that you can partner. A lot of bloggers, this is their full-time job. So be prepared to pay them a certain amount. Everyone's different, but be prepared to pay them in addition to supplying them with free product. Because the results that you'll get if you ask them who your target market is, what is their demographic, is it, male versus female, what age range is it, and what are their interests, if those match up with yours, it would be a huge opportunity because they'll do a review on your product, They'll tell their audience about it. You can even ask them if they'll do a social media post. Most of them have different, I guess you would say, different packages that you can choose from depending on what your needs are and what your budget is. And they'll do anything from writing it on their blog to doing a social media post to sometimes they even do giveaways, which is great too, because then you can provide them product and then they can give that away so some of their viewers can review it. But the whole point is to gain exposure through those people who have already increased their exposure to that target market that you're going after.
So would you say that works better for products or e-commerce? And is there a way that you can use those same influencers for like a local business?
Oh, yeah. So I definitely think that you have to get a little bit more creative with service-based companies. But if you're a product-based company and you've heard of influencer marketing, but you're not really familiar with it, I would say go ahead and research that and see. And what you can do is just reach out to these bloggers. I mean, at the end of the day, the ones that we've worked with are so nice. They're so willing to work with you and say, okay, this is what I can do for you. This is my package and so on. If you're a service-based company like ours, it gets a little bit more creative. You have to get kind of your creative juices flowing. So what you can do is, let's say there's a business blogger or an entrepreneur, or, some people, there's a lot of mommy blogs out there where they talk about being a mom and working at the same time. And maybe their target market is working moms who are starting businesses on Etsy or who have their own companies as well. So that might be a good opportunity for you to talk about what you do and that you can help them within that particular market.
Well, Kaitlyn, there is so much talk about here, like I said, and I don't want to keep you all day, but what I've found just by listening to you is that you talk very clearly about what it is that you do, more so than a lot of people that I talk to, and that's got to put your clientele in a good place as well, where they clearly understand what it is that you're doing for them. Tell me what happens when a new client reaches out to you. Do you sit down and have a consultation with them first?
Yeah, and thank you for that. I really appreciate your feedback. That's awesome. So yes, exactly. What we do is we sit down with them and we always offer a free 30-minute consultation. And this is to make sure that we're a good fit for you and that you're a good fit for us. So we basically dive into what you're looking for, your goals, how you want your company to grow, and where your company is right now. And then we have a second meeting, and this can either be over the phone or in person, just depending on where you are. And then we dive even deeper. We say, okay, how much do you want to grow? What are those numbers? Who are your competitors? What are they doing that you like? What are the keywords that you might want to rank for? And we just talk about the company goals overall, go deeper into your marketing goals and expectations too. And then the last meeting is to walk through the proposal to go over what our marketing plan is for you and then to hopefully get started.
Excellent. Well, if somebody does want to reach out to you, Kaitlyn, what is the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, they can go to our website. It's southstreetmarketing.com. And if you hit the contact page, we have a contact form on there. And if you fill it out, we will get back to you normally within 24 hours to set up a free 30-minute call. That one will be with Maddie. She is our master communicator, and she dives deeper into what you're looking for so we can get to know you a little bit more. But the website also has a lot of great free content. If you're not looking for a full marketing strategy now, you can also visit our toolbox page on the menu, and you'll see some free downloadables, some paid downloadables, some e-courses. And those will just help the person that might be starting out but isn't looking for a full marketing plan yet.
Well, Kaitlyn Study, it's been a pleasure talking with you today. If you're listening to this, reach out to southstreetmarketing.com and at least look at those resources that she has on her site there. And definitely reach out to Kaitlyn. Kaitlyn, is there a phone number on the website where they might be able to reach out to you?
Yes, our phone number is 407-867-2667, and you can find that on the website as well. And then if you all have any questions, you can always email us. Our email is hello@southstreetmarketing.com. We check that every day. So if you have any questions, need anything from us, we're happy to help you as well.
Well, this has been great, Kaitlyn. I really thank you for all the information that you have shared with our audience today, and thanks for being a guest on the Trust Factor Radio.
Yes, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I really appreciate it.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.